Hey guys, Tom here. Hope everyone is doing well today. If you saw the title of this video, then you already know what we're going to go ahead and get ready to discuss today. And it's going to be discussing a lot of the horrifying camping stories or encounters that people have had. And if this is the type of content that you enjoy or would like to watch more of, feel free to go ahead and click that like and that subscribe down below. Be greatly appreciated. But hopefully, if you stick around to the end of the video, I'll have a chance to earn that like and subscribe from you. I've also noticed in the statistics on the channel that a large number of y'all, I'll post it over here, are not subscribed to the channel, and I'd really love it if we could kind of even those numbers out a little bit more. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this video going. So the first one that we're going to be discussing is the Phantom of Yosemite. This comes from a group of friends that had decided to camp in the Yosemite National Park, choosing a remote site that was far away from the crowded spaces and other campers, because sometimes when you go camping, you really want to be able to have that little bit of you want to be able to have some of that kind of private area. I know myself, when I go camping, a lot of times I try and find somewhere further away where I'm further away from some of the other campers, because noise cuts down, you don't get disturbed as much and stuff like that. But either way, one night they sat around their campfire and they started hearing these footsteps that were off in the woods circling around them. And they were thinking it could be a predator, maybe a bear, wolf, something like that. So they decided to shine their flashlights into the direction of the sounds and the footsteps off in the woods. But nothing was able to be seen. The footsteps would continue in those circles around the campfire all night, when suddenly they could hear a blood-curdling scream that came from the darkness, which led to them deciding that they were going to go ahead and pack up for the night and head back home. Later on, however, they learned some tragic news, as a man had gone missing in that area years prior, and his remains were never located. So I know something like that is definitely creepy. I don't know if I could go camping back in the same campsite after something like that happening, but it's definitely creepy experience, to say the least. This next one coming to us is titled The Watcher, and it follows Anna, who decided that she wanted to go camping through the Appalachian Mountains and ended up deciding to perform a solo camping trip in the Appalachian Mountains. During that trip one night, she set up her tent and settled in to get some rest. And throughout the night, she would wake up several times feeling watched and never seeing anyone there. So every time she checked, when she didn't find anything, she would end up going back to sleep and resting throughout the night. However, the next morning, her belongings had been disturbed when she got up, but nothing was missing, so she ended up thinking nothing of it and packed up, continued on her way. And days later, after her trip finished, however, she was developing her photos from the trip and had noticed that she would find several photos of herself sleeping that were taken within her tent during the trip and during that nighttime. which ultimately I feel like is super creepy. I know when I went camping and I had my tent, I actually had a little tiny padlocks. There were some zippers that were on the inside. Whenever I zipped it shut, I'd put the little tiny padlock in there and clip it, lock it shut, just so if anyone else had come along, that they wouldn't be able to unzip the tent. Now with that story, guys, we got 2 out of 5 done. We have 3 more stories to go through, so we're going to continue on with the shadow in the woods. Family had some plans to go camping in the remote Rockies as a family outing. However, during this trip, they would experience something that no one had ever expected to happen. You see, they noticed this shadowy figure that would move from tree to tree, and it was initially, though, thought to be a bear. They realized one terrifying thing. The shadow is more menacing, larger, and human-shaped than that of a shadow that a bear could make. Feeling watched, they decided their best course of action was to pack up and leave, only to learn later that there had been numerous reports and sightings of a Sasquatch-like creature in that area. And with that being said, we're going to be moving on to the next story, which is the bloodied oak tree. It's another short one that came from a hike in a secluded area. It is located in the Pacific Northwest, and a lone camper stumbled upon something. Before them was a large hollowed-out oak tree, and what it contained was one of the most horrifying discoveries they would ever have during one of their trips. It was that of a bloodstained shirt, and it was located on a skeletal body. And also contained within that tree was an old revolver dating from the 1800s, and it caused her to proceed to call the police. Later on, she had learned that all that was evidence, and it had been tied to an unsolved crime dating from back during the 1800s. Now, I don't know about y'all, but if I was camping in an area and I came across a bloodied shirt on some skeletal remains, I don't think I'd be feeling very safe in that area anymore, and probably would not be hiking that trail anymore. But needless to say, we're on to the last story for this video, which is the serial killer at the campground. A group of friends from Florida decided that they would have a weekend getaway, as a lot of friends do, and decided to spend the weekend camping. They ended up meeting a friendly camper who was in the area, and everyone decided to share ghost stories and laughs while they were around the campfire. They noted that his eyes would twinkle in the firelight, and had hung out with him all night, feeling as though they had made a new friend during this weekend getaway. However, when they had packed up and headed home, they saw his face again, but it was plastered all over the news and TV. For the gentleman they met and hung out with all night was a notorious serial killer and was wanted in several states. Now, I feel like that one would be a little unnerving, because if you don't know that they're a serial killer or anything like that, that just leads me to wonder what could have happened to them at night if that guy decided that he wanted to target them. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. And if you enjoyed and haven't already, feel free to click that subscribe and like button down below. I think this is going to be the first of several videos that are released as a series like this. So if there's any experiences or stories you'd like to share, feel free to share them in the comments down below. I'm also going to leave down in the description down below a list of links that can be used to support the channel if you guys would like to. However, do not feel obligated or feel like you have to. They're just there for if you want to. And as always, enjoy life, take it a day at a time, and I'll catch y'all next time.